Once upon a time, in the days when tigers roamed the Korean mountains, there was a poor widow who lived in a little cottage with her son. One day, the mother called her son, whose name was Kwang Jo, and said, "Today let's take our patched quilt out and spread it on the ground. We can collect all the wild vegetables we need to make kimchi for winter." "All right, mother," said Kwang Jo, and they did as she suggested. Soon they had gathered enough spinach, cabbage, garlic, chilies, and radishes to last them the whole year. But Kwang Jo noticed something else. Scattered among the greens they had picked were leaves shaped like the hands of Buddha. He stopped to pick some up, and his mother cried out, "Don't touch those, Kwang Jo. Those are sacred. If someone eats them, he becomes immortal and goes up to heaven." Kwang Jo tossed them back into the field, and together they returned home with their bounty. That night, after their meal of kimchi, Jong-ho couldn't sleep. The wind outside was cold, and he cuddled closer to his mother. Then he heard a creaking sound, and when he looked up, he saw a tiger at the edge of the roof. Kwang Jo pointed and whispered, "Mother, there's a tiger out there." "Don't be afraid," she said calmly. "He wants to take me away with him to live in his cave and eat delicious meat every day." "Me too," whispered Kwang Jo. "Well, if you want to go with me, come here," said the tiger. Then it leapt down to the ground and beckoned to them. The mother stroked her son's head and said, "You stay here, Kwang Jo. Don't go out into the wild and don't trust any stranger who comes to our door." Then she stepped out into the dark and walked toward the waiting tiger. Early in the morning, the sun rose over the hills, and Kwang Jo began to worry about his mother. Had the tiger eaten her? Was she gone forever? Suddenly, he heard a knock at the door. Startled, he ran to hide behind the bed. The knock came again, louder than before. Who could that be? He wondered aloud. Gathering his courage, he opened the door and found a beautiful woman standing there. She had delicate features, dark eyebrows, almond eyes, and hair like black ink. "Excuse me," she said, "but is your mother here?" "Yes, she went out last night," replied Kwang Jo cautiously. "Is something the matter?" "I'm her sister," the woman explained, "and I haven't seen her for a long time. I only heard recently that she was living here. May I come in and wait for her?" "Of course," said Kwang Jo. He invited her in, and she sat down on a mat while he went to get her some tea. But when he turned around, she had disappeared. Kwang Jo poured the tea out anyway, and then he waited and waited. At noon, he went out to gather vegetables, but he came back to find his mother in the yard. She had a strange light on her face, and she looked a lot younger. "Mother, is it really you?" he cried, running to her. "You weren't eaten by the tiger." "Well, yes and no," she said with a mysterious smile. "Will you come with me and see for yourself?" Kwang Jo thought about the woman who looked just like his mother, except that she was younger and more beautiful. Could she be his real mother? Perhaps she had been taken by a tiger. Years ago, he had a mother who was as pretty as any fairy. Maybe if he followed this tiger, he could find her. So he nodded at his mom and said, "I think I'll go with you." Later, when they reached the tiger's cave, Kwang Jo climbed up to take a look. Inside, he found his mother sitting on a stone couch. Next to her, on a golden pillow, lounged a magnificent tiger. But there was no sign of any other mother. "Where is my real mother?" he asked. "She is your real mother," said the tiger, and then it spoke again, this time in a woman's voice. "My dear son, you know I love you best of all. I simply wanted to be with you, and so I became a tiger and took your mother away. See how beautiful our cave is. You can live here with me and be my prince. Or if you prefer, you can take my magic necklace and return home." "I want to be with you," said Kwang Jo. The tiger, or rather the woman, smiled and kissed him on the cheek. "Then let me show you how." She slipped the necklace around his neck, and suddenly Kwang Jo felt strong arms lifting him high above the ground. He had become a tiger, too, and from that day on, he shared his life between his human family and the magical cave of his true mother. Now, whenever there is a new moon, the two families visit each other, And that is why people sometimes catch sight of tigers leaping from mountain to mountain. You see, children, when you hold on to things too tightly, like Dong Chin kept the stories, they can end up hurting you. But if you share things with others, like Kwang Jo shared his love between two homes, you can enjoy the best of both worlds. And that is the end of this tale. And the end of this tale.